It's not really about communicating anything. It's about trying to get people into a space where they can experience, understand, live with questions of listening. That's what the project's about. It's about listening. It's about the ethics, the aesthetics, the problematics, the memories, the histories of listening. The title of the entire pavilion is Listening All Night to the Rain. And that's really a crib. I've stolen it from an 11th century Chinese poet, Su Dongpo. When you're listening to yourself. You're listening to your dreams, your ambitions. You're talking to yourself, essentially. I start with a team, we divide up areas of research, and then we begin. So we unearth hundreds, and then I start to select from that images, stories, narratives, and so on. At some point, the idea is to try and create a story with this stuff. Everybody has a role, whether it's music or costumes, everything has a role to play and everything has something to ask and suggest.
We had to respond, architecturally to a brief, when at that point you were really in the research and you were thinking about what the questions were. So trying to imagine what a physical experience of the exhibition would be, how we negotiate this really complicated, really conceptually, historically, in terms of meaning, space, was, I think, quite an extraordinary process as well.
You've got at the heart of this whole thing a pavilion. You have to do something with it, and I think we've tried to change the experience of the pavilion and how it's used in a way that responds to some of the themes of the piece.
So the visitor experience has really been about trying to deal with all aspects of the building, trying to take up space to make the statements we want to ask the questions we want to. So the visitor experience begins actually in a really extraordinary moment on the facade of the building where John has created this extraordinary multi-screen installation which people can see all the way up through the breadth of Giardini.
It's difficult to tell whether this actually works until it's in, and it's difficult to tell whether things work because I'm not really that interested now about whether things are good or not, whilst I'm in the middle of it, because the questions that the things are asking have nothing to do with quality. They're very little to do with. Look at all of this stuff. The questions they want to ask have nothing to do with whether they're any good. They don't work, most of them. So it's not about quality. It's about afterlives and what you can do with them. I wouldn't want people to come in thinking, okay, I move from the main room to that and I get a different thing. You're meant to experience the whole thing as a Hegelian whole, right? Bits of it will be different. Some will deal with questions of ethnicity, some will deal with questions of gender, some will deal with flow of water, but all of them will be in a kind of mixed economy. They'll be talking to each other inside each cubicle, if you will. The key metaphor, the key visual trope of flooding goes back to concerns about climate change. But I think it's also important that we use the occasion of the approaching crisis to rethink what our past has been, to listen more to what our past has been. It's a good exercise. Listening to your past is a good exercise.